right.
Hello.
Hello. Awesome.
Is this thing on?
It is now.
Oh, goody gumdrops. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fortnightly Frontier. I am Darjanator.
And I'm
Over
Myre.
there's Myre, just like before, except in a brand spanking new look. If you've been a fan of the show, you may have noticed that we've been offline for quite a while now. We decided to take a break to gather our thoughts, to recuperate from probably us being the longest standing podcast in Star Citizen community. Well, not Myre and I, but Myre's predecessor and I started this podcast before the hangars were even a thing. But yes, we decided to take a bit of a break, recoup our thoughts, and now we are back, hopefully better than ever, with newfound zeal to discuss everything Star Citizen. So if you
Season 6.
Season
6.
Yes. We don't count, we just go by seasons. And it has nothing to do with how many years we've been on, it's just random. I don't really know.
I mean, if TV is allowed to just randomly make things seasons, so are we. We have our rights. We know our rights.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Sherlock. Right? How many years has it been since last season?
I don't know. You mean Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, the one that's just called Sherlock.
Right. I haven't actually seen it. The last Sherlock that I've seen is the Downey Jr. one, the movies.
Oh, right. No, you should look into that. This one, the new one, it is actually quite good, but that is quite beside the point. How are you, Myre? It's been a long time.
Good.
It's like I'm trying to pretend we don't hang out in Star Citizen every day.
I'm good. Yeah, it's good to be back on the podcast. Honestly, it's good to have a place to talk about stuff. I mean, like, it's one thing talking with chat and stuff, but it's also cool to just have like a back and forth kind of rapport as well. I mean, like, we haven't ignored chat. Chat is here. This is live with Twitch right now.
Live. Yes,
if chat says something, they will show up there.
And as for those who have been with us for this time, you will know that we didn't really do chat much, but now chat has a thing, right?
A thing, but chat shy.
So if anybody, chat is shy apparently. Yes, but wow.
What?
Nothing. It's just like we haven't done this in such a long time.
I can tell that you're very flustered. I mean,
I'm flustered. It's like my first time. I'm a born again virgin, or however you want to call it.
What? I mean, it's not like you don't join me on Star Citizen every day and you don't talk there. I mean, like,
yeah, this is true. Yes, this is performing. I mean, you're the streamer. I mean, we are actually hijacking your airwaves, so to speak, because we never actually managed to get a Twitch channel for this podcast, and
it's better
far
this
too
way.
late now.
Yeah, but anyway, so what's new in Star Citizen? I mean, like, I think
it's been a lot of things have changed since we were last online.
Yeah.
Like, we have a planet now.
We do. We've got Hurston and
we have
all the goodness. Right
and
now,
all the moons it comes with.
Yeah, right now there's an exposition happening in game. It's the first of its kind, the IAE. And what does that stand for again?
I think it stands for Intergalactic Aerospace Expo.
Yeah, I think so. And it's been a pretty awesome event so far to get, because it's part of the whole free fly thing. And it's an in-lore way of getting new people into the game and getting them acquainted with all the ships. And honestly, I did not expect them to do anything like this. And I think
Chris Roberts did mention that he wishes that one day the expo, which has been running for quite a while, for a few years now, but it's always been just, that Jeremy Clarkson lookalike guy reporting from it, but it's only been just a couple of videos of that and then a free fly event, but in normal game. But he did say that eventually he wants it to be an in-game event where people actually go to, and we have that now.
We do, and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Like in the past, we've had certain things before. Like during Christmas, we'd get like wreaths and stuff in the hangars. But I guess it made sense. We've had the ability to have multiplayer for some time, and with the addition of Lorville and the spaceport and everything just kind of like fell into place to have this really
Yeah,
like
Lorville's one of the things that we got. Like, we lost Area 18, the bespoke little tiny little level for as part of the social module, as it were.
yeah.
Um,
But we're getting it
that
back.
we are getting it back. We're getting Area 18 back properly as part of
ArcCorp.
ArcCorp. That's the one, ArcCorp. Which will be part of a whole planet that we'll be able to explore. It'll be just one area. It'll be the 18th area in a set of areas that are supposed to be landing zones on that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's finally happened. We got what we wanted. We wanted that sort of experience on an actual planet that you can fly in from orbit and land and hopefully not get destroyed by the no-fly zone.
Yeah, I mean they're slowly rolling through with their promises, and it's in a big way, and it's been a pretty awesome ride. I mean, what next could they do? I mean, Asnog in chat saying that maybe the next thing they could do is have a stage in game for face over IP presentation. Honestly, wouldn't that be something? I mean, like, wouldn't that be just the buggiest mess in the world?
Well, once they get FOIP in, they would need to get a full-on mocap suit, and we could have a real-life
dude,
presentation like we had for the Pioneer with, oh my god, what is his name? I can't remember.
Silas Kerner.
Silas Kerner, yes, the one with the Texan accent.
You casual.
Names. I'm not good with names. Apparently. Yes, like an actual event like that in game. Or maybe they could just, not have it be live, but have an NPC recorded and put in game with all his motions and to go in. But that would have been cool
a canned experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
somewhere where you can't interact with them, but they would definitely mess that up because they had some of the ships cordoned off during the anvil thing, and it took me like 5 seconds to get past. But that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, like they've shown tech before of render to texture working with remote cameras so that you can see things like on big screens. I could see it really easily done, like having the whole Silas Kerner experience. I mean, like with the Pioneer, when they had that done, that was all done in engine. There's nothing stopping them doing something like that in game and then triggering it for people to go play. I mean, that's how Bulkheads and stuff did all their scenes in CryEngine. You press a button and they do it. So I could see
next
that.
year probably.
Next year maybe.
This year we got an exposition. Is it exposition hall? Is expo short for exposition?
Hall? Yeah, exposition hall.
Yeah, we got one of those, and it does feel like it. I've been to a lot of them. There are a couple in Germany, specifically called Bauma, and which is like for construction equipment. And then there's the Geneva Motor Show that I went once, and it gave me that exact feeling. They nailed it, although it is a bit barren. There's a lot of more people supposed to be in there, and there's supposed to be people at every stand, giving out flyers. And
yeah,
like glass boxes with parts in them and stuff like that. It's the little things that are sort of missing in this, I suppose, like the first version of an expo. But
yeah, it's
next year I can totally see that coming in.
Yeah, it's their tier 0 implementation of exposition halls and stuff, but I can see that.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the Origin one that happened today. Like, they had seats and stuff, like, near all the booths, but there were no NPCs manning those seats. So you could see that they didn't quite meet what they wanted, but it still looks good.
I was actually, I jumped on that and crouched in the seat waiting for you to come by, but you went to spawn your 350R in a hangar and flew off, so...
My bad.
I had the fancy clothes on and everything. I was supposed to be like the welcome to
Uh,
Origin.
that would have made a pretty cool screenshot, to be honest. I mean, hopefully we can get it
Not
before.
really, because you can't really sit in the seat. I had to jump on it and crouch so you could see
Oh,
my
okay.
knees and everything. But
Uh,
yeah,
Fair enough.
tier zero, tier zero.
Tier zero. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm,
and like I said, today was Origin Day.
Every single day, they're basically bringing up a whole different manufacturer. I think there are about 10 manufacturers in total. So there are going to be a few days where some will have to share. But the
Hmm.
expo hall is really big enough for
Well,
a lot. Like half the time, they actually cordon off half of it, right?
right, especially because some of those smaller manufacturers don't really have much to offer. Like
Mm.
CNOU, I doubt they'll bring a Pioneer, but everything else they have is just variants of the Mustang.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that they would still have all four Mustang variants at the
Yeah,
least in the
yeah,
corner somewhere.
but yeah, that's barely enough to occupy a corner, and then there's
Yeah.
Tumbril with their Cyclones,
Argo with their
and
Argo
no, there's three versions, isn't there?
of the Argo.
Yeah, I don't. I think one is we don't have in game.
Okay.
It's meant for the escape pod capture,
Oh,
right? So
right.
it's empty, and then it latches onto something, and then
That's neat. I
yeah,
didn't know that existed. I know we
they,
have the Argo cargo and we have the Argo personnel carrier, but I didn't know that we
mm,
had a SNR thing. That's pretty cool.
I think. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be buried, in a first draft of the design document that I just somehow remember. But yeah.
Mm.
Um. So yeah, we started with Anvil.
Mm-hmm. And
Anvil, I believe, was like the best one so far, even though we're
yeah,
on day three.
because
Oh yeah, because yeah, the arrow
it
designed by,
this
well,
was
concepted at least.
yeah, concepted by Jeremiah Lee. It's his first ever
Yeah.
concept ship. He's the mastermind behind so many of the different armors in the game. The new Odyssey flight suit, the Moby Gloss, and they were like, "Yo, Jay Lee, we like what you do with people and wristwatches. How about a plane?" He's like, "Sure."
Yeah, because
Yeah.
why not? And it's a very nice one. It does have the anvil look, even though it's more angular. It does have that anvil look, which on fighters I've noticed is basically an open nose with something pointing through it. Just like this thing going on.
Hmm.
Um, and it's supposed to be like Gladius equivalent.
Yeah, so
Um,
it's Anvil's answer to the Gladius,
mhm.
and I guess also to the Vandal's Scythe in a way. And it made
Mm,
sense, like we kind of needed more variance between. I mean, like if not from a gameplay standpoint, at least from a in lore standpoint. I mean, you can't just have one manufacturer doing everything.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, Anvil and Aegis are supposed to be these military manufacturers, and Origin is a purely civilian. So yeah. Well, tomorrow is Aegis Day, so I suppose we could rent a Gladius, and then since we have the Arrow rented for the entire week, I suppose we could go and compare what they're like side by side.
Hmm. What
Um,
are you looking forward to in terms of tomorrow's Aegis Day? I mean, because I'm not sure when this is going to go live on YouTube,
mhm.
but of course, at least today, at the time of recording, Sunday, it's Origin Day, and there's several more days to come. I don't have the
Yeah.
webpage open myself, so I don't know what's
Well,
next. But
from the all the days I was looking forward to. Well, one of the things I was looking forward to most was today, and the in-engine rework of the 300i, which is, oh my god, it's so nice. It's so much nicer than I thought it'd be.
oh yeah,
Uh, so I think I may actually do have to go all the way around, like, because the 315p was my very first purchase, was my foray into Star Citizen, and then somewhere along the line that got upgraded to a Carrack, and now I'm thinking I'm gonna have to take my 85X and upgrade it back to a 350p.
honestly, I don't blame you after seeing what we saw. I mean, like, it still requires a few art process and stuff before
Hmm.
it's it's in its final, like, I guess ready state, but it looks great. They've basically gone from having this like bare open like space and a seat with some haphazard yoga mat you pull out as a bed and a luxury seat, a luxury ship, to actually having this luxurious Mustang Beta basically, and like 4 different flavors of it. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, would be also interesting to see what they will be bringing with the variants. Like,
Yeah.
will the Explorer variant, the 315p, have like a science station in the back instead of the kitchen? Will the 325A have, I don't know, small weapon racks? The 350R just nothing, and have a big engine there? Because the cargo, I don't know if you've noticed that the cargo comes in from the bottom now. There is an
Yeah,
actual room.
yeah.
The thing drops like on a 600i or a Constellation. Put your cargo in,
Hmm.
pulls back up. There you go.
Yeah, there's a cargo lift, like you say. We saw some images. Somebody managed to clip their camera through the ship and take some pretty
It's on
detailed
Reddit. All
shots.
it's all over Reddit right now. It's
Right,
like
nice.
several dozens of images worth of albums. It's
Yeah. It's got a bathroom, like you say, it has a kitchen. Towards the back, it has a closet because, of course, come 3.5, I think, they're going to remove the whole bag of holding business, and you'll have to
yeah.
have your bespoke loadouts set up for you. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, like maybe we could discuss that now or later, but
Maybe at a later time.
yeah,
Yes.
it's gonna be so different.
Right. Yeah. Because like if you have your suit in one ship and then want to take the other ship, you have to go to the first ship, grab the suit, and take it to the new ship, and then it's just like there's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of back and forth if you want to have your stuff with you all the time.
And then if your ship gets blown up, what happens then?
Yeah. Well, I
Exactly.
did. I already experienced that. In the was it in the PT or was yeah, it was probably was in the PTU. I bought one of the guns
Okay.
from the gun shop. I took in a cutlass that has working gun racks.
Mm-hmm.
I put the guns into the gun rack, and then I crashed basically into a planet or into a moon.
Mm-hmm.
And when I claimed the ship back, the gun racks were empty.
Yeah. So from a gameplay standpoint, I don't know. I mean, like I can get around transit or like commuter citizen. That's pretty awesome. It's so immersive, and it doesn't take too much time out of your game because really that is the game. You are the spaceman. But if I have to, and I mean, you can experience it now, as you say, with guns. You can buy a rifle. You can put it in your ship, but then that ship gets blown up. And then you have to start worrying about getting a new rifle and then restocking your ship again, or like buying a whole new loadout. I don't. How would you once you buy the loadout? How do you take it from the store to your ship? Do you like then like get these carrier bags from cassava and like you see people with like uh
Well, you probably choose, where you want it delivered,
okay,
your
that makes sense.
hangar or
Or your
maybe
ship.
your ship, and then
Mm,
comes in a crate. You open the crate. We saw that like ages ago the grabby hands demonstrations, and
oh yeah.
they were also showing how crates would work. Now they had stuff suspended in them, so maybe something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 or is it 3.6 that this physicalized inventory is coming in?
3.5 I want to say is when they're going to be bringing in the physical inventory system, yeah. And
Okay.
also the new storage crates and stuff. So not everything is in those small cubes anymore. They're going to have like the big freight containers as well.
Yep. But you did ask me what am I looking for tomorrow for Aegis Day, right?
Yes.
There has been some there have been some leaks. There have been musings that there is an Idris in game.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And that's actually been kind of like the rumor for quite some time, even before the IAE came through. Like somebody saw an Idris underground.
Fell through the planet and saw the
Mm,
Idris there.
yeah.
And then in one PTU patch, you were able to go into the Revel in New York to the 5 and 6 sized pad and spawn one in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that kind of probably spoiled the surprise
Mhm.
because
But the thing doesn't fit in the expo hall.
It should do, surely.
Uh,
Not even diagonally.
okay, but if it does fit in the expo hall, here's the
Mhm.
question: how did they get it in there?
Well, the expo hall is
It's
actually.
underground.
Well, I mean, in lore, the expo hall is just the interplanetary like arrivals hangar.
Oh, oh, so they
Yeah,
basically just landed it.
yeah, they just
That
landed
makes
it.
sense,
Mm.
I suppose.
But yeah, in game, if you get in a ship and then get out and go into Lorville and fly up, you will see that the actual expo hall isn't actually in Lorville, and that's for performance reasons. It's like in a little world just off
Yeah,
site. Mm.
yeah. I tried to get to today with my little Tumbrel Cyclone, but it just takes so long.
Yeah, and once you get there, you'll see that it's actually like a kilometer underground as well. And again, for
Yeah.
performance reasons, it makes sense. I mean, like, sure, from a isn't this game supposed to be like super immersive standpoint, maybe not so much, but from a gameplay standpoint, it's perfectly feasible. You know, like yeah, just room for
Uh,
next time.
well, probably one of the reasons was also if you step into any of the ships that are in New Deal or just the M50 parked in the spaceport,
Mm-hmm.
and you turn it on, immediately the sirens start blaring
Oh,
because you're too close to the no-fly zone.
yep,
So they probably wanted to get away from that.
that too. Yeah, that'd be really bad.
Yeah, just all the ships going wee all the time. It's
Yeah.
yep,
But I must say that the whole like IAE thing has really kind of like made me start thinking about what other events could they possibly do. You know, like holidays for sure. Christmas is
Yeah.
coming around the corner. I mean, like again, they used to deck our hangars with wreaths and stuff, so Christmas
Do
is
you
definitely in
think
the
we'll have like
verse.
a Christmas tree in the middle of Lorville?
At least, I think at least if we're not gonna get specific missions, like
And a little tiny I'm so used to the old camera system, like I had more room to gesticulate. Like a tiny
you can
little,
still kind of gesticulate, you know. You
yeah,
can
like
still
in here.
you got more vertical space.
Yeah, sure. The tiny, like a tiny little plastic tree, just spinning on a desk in your hab when you log in.
That'd be great. You know, I think they have a lot of room in order to do a lot of really interesting little things. I think that Lorville, for the most part, is pretty oppressive. So maybe not in like L19, but the TISA spaceport, perhaps, perhaps because you know
Well,
even the 1% of Hurston are going to be going through the spaceport, and
yeah,
they
that is
like their
true.
Christmas. You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the spaceport does have some decorations. They have like the triangular art
It
installation
looks
in
so
the
good. It
ceiling.
looks so
Mm.
realistic. I mean, like it's what you'd come to expect from any kind of like airport or whatever, trying to do like a
Yeah.
little bit of modern art. I like it.
Mm.
It's a
Mm.
really nice touch. But what other inverse like things could they possibly? I mean, the Murray Cup maybe.
Sure, if the Murray Cup actually has a track there.
Well, I mean, like
Well,
the Murray Cup is an event, right? It's not going to be there all the time. It's in a
yeah,
special.
yeah,
It's
sure.
a different planet, obviously. But like as far as events go, it
Oh, right, not at Lorville, but like
no.
in the actual universe. What? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that.
Mm.
Like have a huge Grand Prix style event, or even maybe 24-hour Le Mans. That would be cool. Like 24-hour of Murray Cup, or
Yeah.
maybe a different name because that sounds a bit weird. But can you imagine if you? Oh, oh my God. Okay, if that doesn't happen, we have to get on it.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
once, because servers are so stable right now.
They really are.
I mean,
Like,
just like have an established track,
hmm
and then just have an outside organization do the entire 24-hour race. So you would have to monitor your fuel, and when you run out of fuel, you pull in, pilots change, the ships gets refueled, and then it goes on for another stint, and then just see how many laps you do. Okay, I need to write this down.
in terms of racing, I mean, like, did you ever play back in the day those flash games where you're in like an asteroid and you had to like kind of just like see how long you can survive and escape the asteroid?
Uh, Possibly.
Like just these like racing games on Flash. I mean, like right now, all all racing in Star Citizen is kind of like an open in space with like maybe a few places that you have to like turn and like weave through. I would
Yeah.
like a more constrained, tight environment for that kind of thing. I think it'd be
Yeah.
pretty awesome, you know. But it'd have to be made by devs. It couldn't be something that players could make because you wouldn't be able to. But that's one of
Yeah.
the cool things I want.
Yeah,
I want
yeah,
from that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, even the Murray Cup, the races for in Arena Commander are a bit not constrained enough. Like on the is it the third largest or is the second largest, the one where you're supposed to go all the way around like in sort of a zigzaggy motion.
Okay.
But some races just realized, yeah, I don't have to do that. When I get through the checkpoint, I can just turn 90 degrees and go straight across. I mean, I suppose that,
I mean, it
on
works,
the
but you're
one hand,
breaking bounds. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, if this was like a proper race and you just did that through a hairpin, just yeah. And I don't feel like going all the way over there and turning around. I'm just gonna go right here through the grass. It's like, yeah, you would get in a bit of trouble. But sure, Murray Cup. Um, and I suppose
Anything
some
else?
sort of regional holiday celebrations would be appropriate.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um.
I mean,
Definitely. I'm trying to think. I mean,
sky's the limit. This
really,
regard.
really, yeah, yeah. Like in terms of just other events, I mean, they showed like a Vandal attacking Port Olisar and stuff, but that's not necessarily the same thing.
No, or maybe a celebration of defeating the Vandal, because
Mm,
this is supposed to be a couple of years after Squadron 42, where you battle the Vandal.
yeah. I mean, like it's also, I guess, the first ever like time in the history of the game where a location has changed for a
Mm-hmm.
specific amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And in the future that's going to be something that happens quite frequently, depending on how often a place gets used, how many missions are successful in that area, how it does economically and that kind of thing. I'm looking forward to all that kind of stuff happening in the game. Oh,
Oh yeah.
New Year's fireworks over different cities and
Oh
planets.
yeah,
Yes, what did we, yeah.
it's like ships blowing up above Lorville.
Not ships, actual fireworks this time. Oh, can you imagine? Like and it be timed so that for every time zone, or at least like every hour, it make be much easier for them, right? Like a fireworks would go off over Louisville. That could be done.
Yeah, on the
That,
hour, every hour. Yeah.
that could be done. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. CIG, you're watching. You need to do this. You have a month.
They have a month. Oh God. Yeah.
Mm.
But going
Uh,
back to, sorry, you go.
no. Go for it. So going back to the expo.
Hmm.
So we got day one with the Anvil, which was probably the most impressive one so far. Day two was RSI, which was a bit of a letdown. We didn't get to see the Apollo or
Yeah. I
the
think
other one.
for me, expectations were maybe a bit too high for, I
Mm.
guess, the full week because day one was pretty strong. We got to see, of course, the Arrow, and we got to see the F8 Lightning, and we got to see the Hawk, which is coming out at the end of this year.
Yep.
So,
And the Hornet Mark II finally in game.
yeah. So day two was RSI. What is there? Oh,
But we saw nothing that's not already in game.
exactly. At
Mm.
least today with Origin, we got to see the new 300i. Tomorrow, more. I think
Tomorrow, I'd say is gonna be content-wise is gonna be the most packed event.
it's gonna be a big
Just
day.
just because Aegis has the most ships in game right now,
Mm.
and they have the biggest one in game. And if the Idris is big stonking thing in over the entire floor, that's gonna be
So good. I mean,
uh,
I imagine
uh,
because of the way this map is laid out, they could probably just expand it or whatever, and just say, "Oh yeah, we had
possibly,
a
yeah.
faux wall over." In fact, no, there are like shuttered doors on the side, so they could expand it if they wanted to.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah, but because even with Anvil, which had the most expensive showing so far, there were just walls cordoning off the rest of the floor.
hmm
They didn't even take up the entirety of the show floor.
exactly. Yeah, so I have high hopes. I mean, like, yeah, I have high hopes, really high hopes
for
for
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm sure people in the future watching this video or this VOD are gonna be like, nope.
You played
Oh
yourself.
man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tomorrow is Aegis. The day after is Drake. Is there
Hmm.
anything neat with Drake
No, I don't think there's anything. Well,
apart
I
from the Kraken?
doubt the Kraken's gonna be in.
But the Kraken has an in-game model that they showed at least from one
Oh,
side and the trailer. It could. It
you're
could.
right. You're right.
You know, they could.
And when you're right, you're right.
Or unless I'm wrong.
Unless you're wrong, yes.
Yeah, because they might either have it at the expo hall or just put it back where it was in the vertical slice because there's
Mm,
a big Udio wall there, so you can't go there anyway.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Hmm.
just so you'll be able to see it through the gallery window.
Yeah, that would be something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
probably won't happen.
Well, did, did they have surprises
Hmm.
in store for us? Well, one of them has been completely spoiled.
Yeah.
But if you want to know about that, or just go to the Reddit. The Reddit, not just any Reddit, the Reddit. Go to Reddit and you will be able to find a post of it there. And then tomorrow for the Idris, that's hopeful.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the testing they did in the PTU and the accidental hangar. I may I wondered if that was as accidental as we think it was. If it wasn't just to see what sort of performance people are getting.
I mean, you'd hope. You'd hope that it was intentional, but I have a feeling that it was just somebody having an off day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, then there is the combined day
Yes,
for
combined days on the 28th, I think.
mhm,
And
Opoa
yes.
and CNOU and Tumbril, all of those, I believe.
Mhm.
Um,
And the following, I mean, let's not skip. So what do you think is going to happen with that? I mean, like apart from of course the redacted ship which has been spoiled, I don't think there'd be anything else special showcased off there, to be honest.
well, if they get the Idris in and if they get the Kraken in, why not the freaking Pioneer as well?
Nah, that's too much. That's too much.
Too much?
You
Asking too
know,
much?
yeah. I mean, like again, my expectation has kind of been, I guess, what's the word again? My expectations have kind of been quelled a bit, tiny bit. Like because of course the event isn't necessarily for long term backers. Yeah, sure. I mean, like it's cool to see some things are in production, but it's also it's part of the free fly. It's part of the anniversary, so it's also for new people. So, like
Mm.
for instance, the RSI day, not so much amazing for us, but for new
Yeah,
people, it's like, yo, it's a
sure.
candy shop. So that's
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
guess.
yeah. Like
Hmm.
if you're looking at it from the perspective of somebody who's just trying to see what every sort of ship is, it
Yeah.
was just another exciting day. It was the first buggy they saw, the first land vehicle on
Hmm.
RSI Day, the Ursa rover.
Yeah.
Um, which a lot of people may not even know those existed. They thought they were just spaceships, and then they saw the Ursa rover there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like another part of I guess community interaction that they've done really well this time around is the quiz. The quiz is
Oh,
so different from other like community interaction things they've done before in terms of making you do things that I kind of want to also make a quiz of my own, you know, and maybe in the future link that to how I do a giveaway or something in the future. I
oh,
think that there's a lot
like
of
like like a big giveaway, not just any giveaway. And like, okay, guys, here's a $10 Star Citizen gift card. Fill out this questionnaire. It's
yeah,
like
yeah. No,
maybe
something
something.
is yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit bigger. I mean,
mm.
as a stream, I think
Your
that
life savings.
God damn. But as a stream, I think we've been a bit fortunate this month. So I think maybe, I mean, gifting an anvil arrow may not be out of the question at the end of the month,
Mm,
but we'll see.
right.
Yeah.
And you could have an anvil themed question. Well, it's not a questionnaire. It's like a quiz. Yeah, sure.
I know I'm gonna make it the biggest bollock in the world. You know it. I'm gonna be like, how many times does the MISC logo appear on the floor of the second floor of the Starfarer Gemini? And the answer is like 170 something. So good luck.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a tumbril roll?
Oh, how many? How many, Darge?
I don't know. 3.5.
Okay. Oh, geez. All right. So, I guess that's it for the IAE. Apart from so MISC is the final day, I think, right?
Oh, right. Okay.
And then
So we're gonna have two. Oh, speaking of, do you think we'll see the Starfarer Gemini tomorrow, or is that just part of MISC? Because
that's a good
Gemini
point.
is an Aegis sort of
That's
modified for military.
Yeah, it's an Aegis contracted MISC ship. That is a good point. Maybe. But they already have so many ships. I don't think so. It might just be sitting next to the Starfarer on the MISC day. We'll have to see. That's a really good point. But yeah, as far as MISC is concerned, I think that they kind of spoiled that we'll be seeing the new MISC freelancers, though. We'll be seeing those new models, I think.
Oh, yes.
Because
Finally.
Yeah, on the main website for the IAE, there's a freelancer with an orange trim on it, and that is the freelancer. I don't know. I don't know. Well, something you did. Yeah, but yeah, there was a different looking freelancer there with an orange trim on it, and all the freelancer variants have like a different color trim to them. So yeah, like we'll see. Yeah.
Not really that much of a fan of MISC ships,
Are you serious?
I sort of like the freelancer, but the design-wise, just too bulbous for me.
That's like Jetsons space, man. You're like a 80s, 90s kid. That should be right up your alley, man. For real.
I prefer me some Star Trek: The Next Generation, and Origin is right up there.
Nah, the game isn't complete until they give us like a proper George Jetson family car bubble cockpit kind of monstrosity. that's my
that
ship.
Folds into a briefcase, right?
Yes. Come on, CIG, make it happen, make it so.
Yeah, sure.
But
anything else we're forgetting? Any other manufacturer we're forgetting?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, like
you probably have the entire thing open. I got a tiny little laptop. I can't do that.
I don't have it open. I was just going off by memory, but I can open it. Not a problem. So yeah, we have the alien manufacturers. Of course, we have Apoa, which has a car to Al, and nothing else currently.
Yeah, you say that because you haven't seen the spoiler, but
well, now you just spoiled it. Damn it! Here I am trying to make sure that the audience is swaddled and unspoiled, and here you are going to Poa. Anyway, Poa.
Poa.
So yeah, MISC Day is on the 29th. There is, and then, so on the 28th, it's not just everything. 28th is Exotics and Imports Day. So that's all Esperia stuff and Apoa and Vandul. Yeah, Vandul is that weird logo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just captured. So basically, all the Vandal ships, whether they are supposed to be in lore, captured and converted, or replicas by Apoa.
Yeah, I mean
or Esperia.
Yeah, the tooltip says. I say the tooltip. The blurb for it says, check out the hottest imports from Banu and Xi'an shipmakers and get your hands on the latest mind-bending alien tech. Have you always wondered what it's like to feel like a pilot of a Vandal skirmisher? Now you don't have to. So yeah, so Vandal ships, Apoa ships, and Esperia reworks and stuff will all be part of that. All right. And yeah, that's the 28th. On the 29th is the MISC Day. And then the 30th is the Mixed Manufacturers Spotlight. So there we have Crusader, Consolidated Outland, Argo Aeronautics, Kruger Intergalactic. What's Kruger make again?
Kruger, Merlin, and Archimedes.
Yeah, you're right. And the Tumbril. So that's all on the 30th. Mm.
You think Crusader will? Well, what does Crusader make that's in game?
Crusader that's in game. I know that
Yeah,
Crusader make the
the Genesis Starliner.
they make the Genesis Starliner and they make the Mercury,
Right,
the Millennium
but
Falcon thing.
if they have a spot on the floor on the last day, they need to bring
Ooh,
something
that is very true.
instead of not just brochures.
That's very true. That actually got me a bit hyped. Why are you hyping? Why? No, no hype. we have to we have to keep our expectations measured, Darj. But you're right.
Sure.
Crusader is there.
Mm.
The Hercules as well is Crusader.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Samit. Yeah, the Hercules is Crusader. And it's bombs.
Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. It's God. It's from
From what? From what?
that Eddie Murphy movie. It's one of the stupid Eddie Murphy movies where he played every role. You
Oh
know,
right. We're gonna say Miss
meet the
Doubtfire.
something.
The clumps.
Meet the somethings.
The
The
clumps.
flump. Yeah, the clumps. Or
Mm,
whatever. Anyway, yes.
yeah. And of course, December 1st to 4th, there is it's called For the Fledgling Pilot. And this is basically the day where all these new people who are currently seeing everything for the first time will be able to purchase ships for a very, very, very low price. And I'm really hoping that it's not like Black Friday where you have these jackasses buying 30 PlayStations, and
Mm.
then trying to resell them later. I'm hoping that it's going to be on a per account basis.
Oh yeah, or
And
at least not have a limited in number,
mm,
so everybody gets.
no, I
You know.
feel like it would have to be limited, otherwise they'll be shooting themselves in the foot financially. But
Oh.
limited, but at the same time, uh, on a per account basis, maybe one or two per account, and you can gift them. But
Mhm.
I think that older accounts should completely just be no, unless of course you're gifting them to somebody. Is what I feel.
Mm.
Because
We'll see.
yeah, because these are for new people. It wouldn't make sense
Mhm.
to me. It would be very, very. Resellers are just gonna be very, ugh, you know. I
Yeah.
hate
Yeah.
scalping. Like to any scalper viewers out there, you're bad people.
Mm. Shame on you.
Mm. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm
So
kidding. I love
that's
everybody.
that. That's that. The
Yeah,
big event
yeah.
that was part of why we chose this Sunday to come back as a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because so much stuff hasn't been happening. Next.
Next, okay, so I mean, like, what has changed since the last time we did this? So again, yeah, Hurston. So Hurston with Lorville, the 24 kilometer squared city, its moons. I'm sure somebody is probably already.
Hurston is a 4,000 kilometer diameter sphere of so much nothingness.
I mean, that's not true. We just took a drive there and we saw like
Sure, but it just showcases that if one of these planets can be so
vast.
vastly barren,
Mm.
like like what's another 300 planets gonna be like?
I mean, that's true, but I mean, it's what you put in it. Right now, there isn't much in terms of content for the game. I mean, like, for Hurston at least, there are no missions. There are no Hurston-based missions, so there's nothing to go see or go do. I mean, like, you're right, but this is the main issue where you have all these procedural games like No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous. Like, they have so much to go see and do, but it's all
Mm,
more of the same stuff. Whereas
yeah.
CIG are trying to make that experience a little bit more, like
Yeah,
individually catered.
even 100 systems though may be too
It
much.
might be too
Like
much, yeah.
so all the people who are complaining that yeah they will not be able to give us 100 systems, and then when they made the announcement that maybe they will only be launching the game with only
Mm.
a handful of systems, like they were all up in arms like this is not what you promised us. And it's like everybody currently having an account could get lost on Hurston forever.
There's enough land on Hurston for every single person who has the game to get like 1,000,000 kilometers squared. of land. No, sorry, 1 kilometer squared. A million?
Yeah, just or I don't know how many. They were talking about Yella, and it's like everybody could get one of those
Yeah, for just
plots, but
Yella.
this Yellowstone is so much bigger.
Mm.
Mm,
Houston is huge, but you make a big
mm.
point. I mean, like,
It showcases just how important stuff like Lorville is going to be, and that you need more than just one per planet. Even though Hurston has these outposts on them, there's like only a handful of them, and they're just basically the same thing as we had on the moon so far.
so what would you do to
Hurston,
it?
it's
Go on, sorry.
well, maybe not on the along the lines of Hurston, but a town, just a small town with NPCs, and they have like uh, like a main hall, and then people living there, and a shop here and there. It's like something in between. That
You're
would be
right.
cool
You're
to
right.
have like a bunch of those.
Yeah, like basically planetary truck stops, like what we have right now, but not just like little
Something on
outposts,
the
but
size of Levski.
settlements. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
settlements.
so yeah, like as big as Levski. Levski is like it's not tiny, but it's not
No,
huge like
Levski is pretty
Lorville is.
sizable. I mean, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't even go to say as so much as Levski. I mean, and you could also kind of like make it. I don't want to use big words, but like you could make it like a Potemkin, right? You could make it so that it looks big on the outside, like North Korea from the border of China with all those like fake like high rises, right? You could make
All
it
right.
so
Yeah.
that like you fly past it and there's like a no-fly zone, you can't go there, but it looks like it's part of a bigger place, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that yeah, you could have that, and you could make the world bigger or like more substantial that way, for sure.
Hmm.
Uh,
But I'm not talking like it's just looking at it when you're flying by, just like landing and having something to do and experiencing new things.
like ArcCorp used to be, is what you're saying, but just
Hmm.
like yeah, I mean, I feel like yeah, for sure. I mean, but yeah, let's say we have that. Is that really adding content?
I think it is like
What makes it?
once the mission system is in, and they can drop in mission givers,
Mm,
like just very quickly. I think they would need to create more of these unique landing zones, sort of like pockets of society somewhere for them to have a sort of uh like if they're grounded somewhere, instead of just being in the middle of nowhere or having like a bunch of mission givers just one next to each other in one
right. I mean, to me that
zone.
to me that's like just another sunset. It's another thing to look at, but not necessarily another thing that'll add to gameplay. It's something that's nice, but it's like
Sure,
you could
yeah,
yeah.
sure. I suppose you could just go to the same mission giver over and over, but it adds some variety. I like to travel. I like to go to new places. I like to see new things, even though they are basically the same things I have back home. Um, but if it's just slightly different, that makes it exciting again. Makes it worth the trek. And it would fill out the vast emptiness that already Star Citizen is, let alone with another 100 systems.
I mean, you're not wrong, and with the current tech that they have, they could probably do it. Have like little Lorvilles, around Hurston using
Mm.
their current tech, and I don't know. It sounds neat. They could probably do it. I don't think it's necessary. To me, that's approaching feature creep.
Well, they're gonna have the planets. May as well put something on them.
You're right. I mean, we're getting an entire city planet soon. Maybe not every single planet's going to be like Hurston, where there's only
Oh
one
no, of
major
course not.
city because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's owned by a company. I guess we'll have
Mm-hmm.
to wait and see. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that was well, what's new? So Lorville. I mean, what do you think of the
Oh,
moons? The moons on
the moons.
Lorville.
Oh, I like that they have very unique looks to them. Especially, is it Ariel, the one with the toxic yellow sort of atmosphere to it?
Yeah.
That
No,
yeah,
no, that's Aberdeen because it's
Aberdeen.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
it's trying
Aberdeen.
to mirror life there and what Aberdeen looks like in real life.
I haven't been, so I have to take your
Neither
word
have
for
I.
it.
Neither have I. I'm just trying to take a dig at our Scottish viewers because I'm an ass. Yeah. But
You do know JR's from Scotland, right?
I do. I do.
Yep. So you want to get on his bad side?
It's gonna happen
um,
eventually.
yeah. Yeah. And I thought I was the bad boy of this podcast.
The bad boy, huh? Neither of
I'm
us are wearing leather jackets and fingerless gloves right now, so I think that I
gonna
don't
have a
think
leather
either is
jacket downstairs. I don't have fingerless gloves though.
fair
I
enough.
don't think I'd look good in fingerless gloves with these sausage fingers. Uh,
Okay.
uh, s- well, one thing though, the travel time from Port Olisar
Mm-hmm.
to Hurston. Okay, so from Crusader to Hurston
Yeah.
is like, oh damn, better bring out, a book or something like that because it's a long trek. Although
Yeah.
although it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't. I mean, like this is one of the things that I wanted to bring up with you on this
Mm.
podcast today. And well, it's basically like right now they've given us all this content. You know, we have Lorville, we have Hurston, we have the Moons. You know, we have these performance captured quest givers. Now we have Rekko, we have Clovis. But the big elephant in the room right now is, I feel anyway, is quantum travel and how that
Yep.
affects
Yeah,
the player experience.
because at least mission wise, there are isolated pockets of gameplay. So you can either do stuff in the Crusader system, or you can travel 10 minutes and then do stuff in the Hurston system.
Mm.
Although there's no missions left. Actually, does Clovis work
Does Clovis work? You
as a
can
mission giver?
not as a mission giver, no, sadly, because we don't have any Hurston missions. But all his
Hmm.
dialogue works.
Okay.
In his initial welcome works. His dialogue options for the initial meeting work. While he's talking, you can turn away, and he was going. I was still talking, and if he asks
Oh,
you a
really?
question, yeah, and if you
Oh, that's cool.
and if he asks you a question, he finishes talking, and then you turn to leave. He goes, "Where are you going?" It's actually pretty cool. But he has no missions just yet.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was one patch in the PTU where the missions,
Mm.
also the normal missions that spawn near a Mobiglass, and Rekko, who sort of works, I suppose, um, for the same price as they would have you travel from an outpost on Daymar to an outpost on Yella. They wanted you to travel from an outpost on Daymar to an outpost on Aberdeen.
I think that was a
And,
bug, or at least
and
in the
that
future.
was like,
Yeah.
no. How about you go screw yourself with that? I'm not doing a 30-minute round trip for 680 credits.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a bug. Maybe in the future that will be a thing, but it'll pay a lot more. But
Oh,
I
it
guess,
should.
yeah, I mean, it goes back to quantum travel and what they want it to be. I mean, like, why is it bad now? The question. I mean, somebody might be asking. I mean, why is it bad now, Darj?
Why is it bad?
Mm,
Well, if you're in a multi-crew ship with a
mm,
functioning interior, you can get out of the seat and do other things.
mm-hmm.
And that's they say that's how you should be able to spend your time, like go around your ship, see if there's anything that needs fixing or replacing or stuff like that. But it just takes so much time. If you're in a single-seater ship, you're just sat there for 15 minutes
Yeah.
doing nothing.
And right, I think that that's not even necessarily what they wanted it to do in the first place. I think that's just its current state. We have all these truck stops. I
Mhm.
always thought that they wanted us to, like stop at those at least once before you get
Yeah,
to.
because you wouldn't
logo.
have enough fuel. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have enough fuel to get from one side of the system to the other. Well,
Mm.
once orbiting gets in,
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, as the orbits converge, it would be just a small hop, skip, and a jump from one planet to the other. But as it is right now, Crusaders on this side of the Stanton system, if I am, my pretty visage is Stanton itself,
Mm.
Hurston is on the other side of the Stanton system, and it
Right.
takes you have to go all the way across, and yeah, you shouldn't be able to do that. That's well, the travel itself should be part of the gameplay. It shouldn't be just I'm gonna hit go and then I'm gonna go make myself a sandwich and come back in 15 minutes because that's just a loading screen
It
basically.
is. And in a game that doesn't need loading screens, in a game that spends
Okay,
so many years eliminating the need for them.
prides itself on not having any loading screens. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a loading screen. It a bigger ship doesn't take as long.
No.
It's the Gemini and the Caterpillar, I believe, or is it just the Gemini?
It,
It's only 4 minutes, but that's still
it
um
it's funny how a bigger ship needs. I mean, sure, it makes sense. They have a bigger engine or whatever, but at the same
mhm.
time, there are so many more things to be able to do in those ships during that time. Whereas in a smaller ship, you're basically
Yeah,
sleeping.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, I think the truck stops are gonna have to be a lot more important in the future. I mean,
mhm,
like maybe there might be small missions for you to do within there. Maybe like when the PEU first came out, there was an emphasis on not everything having to be a dogfight, even when there wasn't like delivery missions.
mhm.
You could turn on and off the comma rays and stuff. I think that maybe they could give you little things to do like that. Maybe if not turning
Mhm.
on and off the comma rays, being engineering is supposed to be a pretty big thing in the game. The multi tools in the game right now. You could go onto one of these truck
Currently,
stops.
you can only use them to kill people because they're insta kills.
Yeah.
But
But like once engineering is a thing, you could probably, on your journey, like be like, hey, you seem to have your proficiency test like a rating or whatever. How about you help us like maintain the station or something? Or I don't know, little things like that. I mean,
mm,
because if you're in a fighter, what else can you do? I mean, like apart from just simply refuel and keep going, in which case you are spending 20, 30 minutes traveling from Hurston to Crusader. Then again, I think
mhm,
as long as there's enough content to do, because again, Hurston is huge. Crusader and its moons, a lot of space, right? Just not so much to do. But if there is
mm,
content and if there is the ability to do more things there, if there are more missions and chaining missions are coming in and that kind of thing, there isn't going to be a need to have to move from Hurston to Crusader unless you really just want to
yeah.
change your scene.
Unless you want to change or want to get in on that big money, like
Yeah,
s- there may be a rare mission here and there that if you get to a good standing with a mission giver,
mm,
and they may entrust you with a high risk mission. Maybe make it like have the planetary systems protected, but the
right.
space in between, that's like no man's land. That's like the pirate zones. That's where you'll be able to get interdicted and attacked. Traveling from Crusader to Hurston may be a dangerous thing.
Mm,
So that's how maybe you would have to then investigate where the pirates are gonna be and then try to go around that. That sort of gameplay is needed to make the travel times
mm.
worth it.
Yeah, I mean, and
Otherwise, people will just stay either in Hurston or Crusader, and nobody will travel in between.
yeah, I mean, in terms of like the duration of like how long it takes to get from A to B. I mean, if there aren't constant stops, then it is gonna be one giant loading screen. But if there aren't constant stops and you can go in the future for straight from Crusader to Hurston, like what can they possibly do in order to make that less boring,
Hmm.
less of a loading screen? And I think when I was talking to you off stream about this, I had ideas like maybe quantum strafing, like having to basically focus on the task at hand. You were quantum traveling. Like let's say your scanners scan ahead, and it's like, oh, there's an asteroid field or like a meteor, and basically you need to strafe down, or like, oh,
Right.
things like that.
Or a suspicious
Signal.
object.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you want to stop and investigate, or do you want to think, yeah, it's probably pirates, I'm just gonna steer clear,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, but being a pilot in Quantum should be more than just push a button and wait.
Yeah. And
Mm,
as
I agree with
Asnog
that,
in
yeah.
chat says, he says, I really do hope that they don't make us stop and refuel all the time. I mean, yeah, I mean, again, to me, there just needs to be more content in the places so you don't need to or wants to travel. But if you do at the same time, it shouldn't also be this one massive slog where you just keep having to bounce from station to station. But
Mm.
I guess we'll see. I have faith in Tony Z. I mean, like, he has some pretty big picture ideas, even though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Economy wise,
Mm,
especially, he's got everything um figured out to a T. So yeah, that would probably be I think he's got his mitts in as well.
mm,
And
yeah.
he has had several years to figure these things out. So yep.
Yeah. So we've been going for quite some time, actually, dude.
Have we?
Yeah, we've
Well,
been.
it's there's been so much to talk about. I mean, you can't squeeze like 6 months of hiatus into a 1 hour podcast, or can you? But
But I mean, so like with all this though, what
Mhm.
has been your favorite thing to come from 3.3?
Ooh, my favorite thing has got to be OCS.
OCS.
Yes, just I at a couple of points I saw frames in the triple digits.
Mm.
Sorry, I was gonna sneeze. Maybe I don't think I will. I may sneeze. I'm warning you in advance. Yes. Frames in the triple digits that barely triple digits. I mean, 101 frames with nothing around me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, even at places where even at lag ski, getting 40 frames per second was unprecedented until 3.3 came around. What about
Yeah.
you?
My favorite thing, the trains, Transit
Oh, really?
Citizen. Believe it or not, I love it. It was like the biggest thing my
So you
takeaway
like
from,
being a commuter citizen?
dude. Yeah, I mean, like, I would love more stops. I would love more NPCs, like just
Mhm.
to make the experience feel even more genuine. But honestly, like I have my CitizenCon coin right here, right? Like my
Mhm.
biggest takeaway from CitizenCon was when they were doing that vertical slice, and he was at the station, and he gets inside and they go, and we're in a tunnel, and sure, and then all of a sudden he just bursts into the daylight, and it just and I think Disco Lando said this once before, like on an ATV or something. But it took that to kind of like make the universe and everything around you more relatable, because
Mhm.
it puts you in a relatable experience, and all of a sudden there's this massive alien experience happening outside, and it really, really, really like amplified that immersion, and in a
Mhm.
huge way. And yeah, I just
Yeah,
really,
so yeah,
really like it.
it makes like a connection between what you're used to and what Star Citizen's, you know, idea of what normal is.
Yeah.
Like, people travel on trains, people go to shops in city centers,
Mm,
but to take one of those trains and go to a spaceport, that
yeah.
is the connection that takes you there.
It's next level.
They, they, they do need some work, because
Of
like
course, yeah.
the tracks they're on are not very ergonomic, I suppose. Corners are not supposed to Trains are not supposed to corner like that, and stuff like that.
Hey, we're in the future.
S-
Anything goes,
s-
man.
Splines, man, not radiuses, splines. But I was actually also quite surprised to see that the countdown timers worked, and the announcer lady is so nice.
Yeah,
Remind
yeah.
reminds me of the one from Half-Life 1. The voice, the cadence, everything is like spot on.
It's a bit of a stark contrast from the rest of Hurston, though. I mean, Hurston is so oppressive. You talk to a guard, and they're like, keep it moving, and that kind of thing. But
Mhm.
yeah,
It's probably intentional just to, make you think that it's a bit less oppressive than it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine that because it's a company or whatever that's basically
It's part of the
owns everything.
propaganda.
That not even propaganda, but when they initially founded Hurston, like that's probably when that voice thing was recorded. But over time, things kind of like grind down. You're probably like several
Yeah.
generations into people living on a company planet, and it becomes a lot more kind of draconic, a lot more like whoever is the CEO is probably king of this planet, right? And so
Mm,
it's kind of like become less about you and more about the company and being a cog. And I think,
yeah, I
yeah,
suppose.
so I love the juxtaposition. It's pretty cool.
Mm,
But yeah, transit systems in general, I'm in love with. When you arrive at Tisa, and again you talked about just how it looks, like all the
mm,
artwork on Tisa, but also I guess the implication of things to come, things like the just the way the airport's laid out, like it says like interplanetary arrivals and like local arrivals and stuff, and in the
Oh,
future,
and transit systems between planets, like yeah, like
cannot wait.
Genesis Starliners taking off every day,
Yeah, yeah, like
and a lot of people would actually use those to travel between places
all
instead
the
of taking their
time.
own ships.
All
Yeah.
the time. In Elite Dangerous, that's like the last thing I did was I was running a chartered like liner. NPCs only, of course, but in
Yeah.
this game, players and NPCs, and you can do both. You not only just be a
Mm,
pilot, but also you can be a host. And they've shown off bartenders kind of working. In the future, of course, they will. And
mhm.
with the Genesis, of course, when they were selling it initially, they also talked about all the different things you could do on board. Not only just pilot it, but also like take your guests, like mobile game stuff. Take your guests' orders. They go, excuse me, my entertainment system's broken. Then you have to like go around back to the server room and like rewire the things to make it work for that one person. I can't wait for that stuff, man. Like
And a thing that's been missing for a while from the game now is hollow pods.
follow. Oh yes, like being able to just jump into Arena Commander just
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the original concept for the Genesis Starliner had a bunch of
Had
those in
those
there
in
as
them.
well.
In
Mm.
fact, it wouldn't be out of the question to have a few sim pods in
Simpods, that's the ones.
yeah
Yeah.
in L19, just like upstairs by the Habs, or like
Yeah.
an
Like one per
arcade,
floor.
yeah, or like
There's
have
a
an
pool
extra.
table. Yeah.
There is, yeah. I imagine sim pods are being refactored as everything else is. In
Mm.
fact, it's a good question to pose to the devs for calling all devs. What
Yeah.
happened to
What happened
Simpods?
to them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like can we expect them to come back? And if so, how about a Lorville arcade?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sure.
But that'd be cool. So that's my favorite thing, and your favorite thing. What about your least favorite thing? What's the worst thing to come under 3.3? Or what's the thing that just grinds your gears about this thing that they could improve
They could improve
or remove?
it. I'm gonna say only because at CitizenCon we saw and were able to experience a preview of what's to come in 3.5,
Mm-hmm.
but we're still stuck with the old version in 3.3. It's the flight model.
Ah, yeah.
Were you gonna say that one?
Oh no, I wasn't. No, but that's very true. The flight
Yeah.
model currently it's an old thing that's I don't even understand. The flight model had maybe for a patch or two this sweet spot, this golden kind of stage. And then they kept working on it and they were working on Gravlev and making Gravlev work. It
Mhm.
seems like whilst they were trying to tweak Gravlev, some things with the flight model must have also been altered because it was after the implementation of working Gravlev bikes that all the competitive players stopped playing, saying it
Hmm.
wasn't fun anymore. But
Really?
I'm hoping that 3.5 does not only make flying fun again, but bring the competitive scene back again. Because
Re-
honestly,
Yeah,
like
because it's gonna be the first major change to how you actually control. Well, they had it's a slight difference between what we have now and what we had before in terms of SCM and cruise and SCM and afterburner.
Yeah.
Yeah, because basically, if you set afterburner to toggle, it basically acts as cruise did before.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's going to be a major change in how you uh, think about your ship's speed, not just how fast you're going
Mm.
or how it behaves.
I mean, all in
And
all, the
finally, the
yeah,
my favorite thing about it is being able to adjust throttle power,
right.
not just how fast I want to go.
Yeah. I think the issue is, and it's why, that whole debacle with the the filling station Cryastro, the whole debacle with that, I think it's all linked. CIG had been focusing a lot on the PU, as they should. That's the main game. But as a result, they stopped focusing on how combat feels and how combat works, and they were tweaking flight to be better and more manageable for going into atmosphere, coming out of atmosphere, doing missions, that kind of thing. And so over time, combat just kept suffering more and more.
Mm.
But because they didn't really, I'm pretty sure they didn't even bother saying, hey, devs, go into Arena Commander and fight and see how it works, because they're focusing on this. It just kind of went by the wayside. So I'm really hoping that 3.5 kind of brings that back to the forefront, because right now, flying from A to B is fine. It's not conducive to dogfighting. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's consider and if you get really good with the throttle management, you can make your ship dance. I would say just
Like
just
in the Anvil Arrow trailer, if
yeah.
that is an indication of things to come with the flight model.
That was probably more like a managing couple that decoupled a lot.
Yeah, it looked
Um, but
amazing though.
but at least for landing planet side or on a gravity assisted landing pad, it's gonna make managing a throttle is gonna make that so much easier and so
Yeah,
much nicer to do smoothly.
yeah,
Like I've gotten quite good most of the time with my keyboard and mouse control, but it just like just tweak your power just ever slightly down until the upward thrusters aren't able to keep your ship, aren't able to fight the gravitational force, and your ship will gently flow to the ground and land. And there you go. You know,
yeah. I mean, I hope it's not too much stress for Mr. Coulson and the rest of the physicists on board CIG, because a lot is resting on them, I guess, in terms of the
mm-hmm.
immediate future.
Mm.
And the community and the dogfighting and stuff.
Well, how many people are actually really, really, really concerned about that?
A very
Is it
small,
just a vocal minority? A very small but very vocal minority.
a,
Yeah.
very small, very vocal, but incredibly active,
That that is
portion
true.
of the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're basically the focus group for things to come. If it sucks for them, it's gonna suck for people in the future. They might buy the game, but will they
Mm.
stay? Not if it sucks.
Yeah.
Mm.
And those people might be really vocal about telling other people that to not buy the game because it sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Um,
Mm.
for
Mm.
me, we've already touched upon my least favorite thing about 3.3, and that's quantum travel, how it
Mm-hmm.
works, and
Well,
mm,
right. It was fine in Crusader system just because all you had was a
it
couple of
was
moons that
shorter.
it was
Yeah,
shorter. Yeah, but without any changes to it, they applied it to a much bigger play area, and here is where its shortcomings are apparent. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, for me,
But
quantum travel.
still in the middle of development, everything can change. Like
Mm.
for longest time, Chris Roberts was touting that point 0.2 C was the top speed. Like
Yeah,
so forever that's gonna be the highest speed you'll be able to go, and that's final. But now, no, the fastest ship now reaches 0.45 C, and that's only a size 3 quantum drive. Not It's not even the biggest thing you'll get in a Nidris or in a Bengal. You
Yeah,
know.
that's very true. And that's also average speed. So top speed is probably even higher
Yeah, because
because
there's
of
ramp
ramp
up
up and
and
ramp
slowing
down.
down. Yeah,
Mm.
but not that much. I think it's you get to top speed quite quickly, especially not such a long trip as it is from
Yeah.
Crusader to Houston. So, just slight difference. Yeah.
Mm. That's
Mm.
true.
It's not like in Elite Dangerous where you keep accelerating until you get to halfway and then you start this decelerating. Yeah, that's a much gradual, curve. This is more like dip and then straight line and then down again.
Yeah, I mean, other than the quantum travel, my least favorite thing about 3.3 is the lack of missions. I mean,
Mm.
we know where missions are going, which is why I'm uh, not content with where they are right now presently. We know that they're going to be chaining. We know that there's going to be a lot more different kinds of them, and we know that they're going to be missions in and around Lorville and Hurston and stuff. And so I'm looking for those. I'm waiting for those, and that's what I dislike at the moment the most.
Right now, I'd be happy with just every mission working.
That as well. They're broken. That's what I don't
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Mm.
Like you get a pickup point that is inaccessible, or the next step after completing previous step in the mission just doesn't show up. So
Yeah.
you're stuck there in an outpost holding a crate of titanium or whatever, not knowing what to do with it. I
Yeah.
mean, if even if the mission description says go there, bring it back to Levski,
Mm.
you have the crate, but you go to Levski and there's no way for you to get rid of it. The
Yeah.
admin won't take it. The automated locker won't take it, and it's just like, what am I supposed to do with this thing now?
Yeah, I mean, and it's not 100% of the time either. I mean, for anybody watching
No.
who's never played the game before, it's not like, oh no, missions don't work at all. What do I do? Some do, but 40% of the time,
Hmm.
it fails every time.
Yeah, to paraphrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I do believe we'll see a 3.3.7 before we see a 3.4. Maybe just to address the missions. Because they
yeah,
did fix Reko. Something about Reko they fixed. Like her positioning and the animations. They are,
yeah.
like, most of the time you're not talking into the small of her back anymore when you're choosing your responses. She doesn't just do a 180, or her neck doesn't
Oh
do a
God,
180. Oh God,
yeah.
that was, if anybody hasn't seen this in game, you count yourself lucky. But there was one point where, um, yeah, her head would just do a 180 and she'd look backwards, and it was like all just. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
a lot of these things, they fix from patch to patch. We're complaining
Yeah,
about certain things now, but I bet you, like, by the time
it's
you watch
just
this,
bugs that
yeah,
will be fixed eventually.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of these bugs we complain about in their internal builds, even they're already fixed. But
Mm.
yeah, I think that about wraps it up for topics this for
Yeah.
our debut for season
Mm.
5 of the Fortnightly Frontier.
Although we do have a bit on the second page, just one thing. You said future features, or do you want to just skip that? Do you feel like we've done everything we can?
I mean, we could talk about it. I mean, like, it was really just there in case we didn't have any. I mean, in case we ran over, and then we're 1 hour
It's we
30.
we
But
haven't been running over, but we have been running over, yeah, because it is on hour 30 where since
mm,
we started. But yeah, sure, I'm up for that.
okay, we could talk about it. So, what are you most excited to see in the future, roadmap and beyond? I mean, like, the roadmap is out there. I don't
You
know
know
if you
what?
have access to it.
I actually know it enough to know what I am excited about,
What are you
and
excited about in the future?
the DNA system.
Character DNA system. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was a panel at CitizenCon
Mm-hmm.
by probably one of my favorite employee, or he's more of than an employee. He's a visionary.
Mr.
Ivo
Ivo.
Herzog.
Yeah, Ivo Herzog. Yeah.
Ivo Herzog, yes.
Is it Ivo? Evo? Evo.
It's Ivo. He's
Okay.
German. It's very much Ivo.
All right.
Um, um, but yes, being able to not just modify your face, but the shape of your head,
Hmm.
and how that's going to continue. But he said he has musings of being able to change the shape of your body as well, not just your
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the distant future. Yeah, and that is, I don't know why they didn't upload that panel to YouTube.
they haven't.
No.
Interesting. It was
Yeah,
definitely one of the more interesting ones for sure.
it was.
Because
It was.
he was like, yeah, so there are all these limitations for the system right now. There's this, and it was like, okay, yeah, so yeah, in other games, yeah, that's a limitation, that makes sense. And he's like, and we fixed it like this. Whoa. But he's like, yeah, but now we had this limitation, and because of it, there's no point doing it. Ah, fair enough. Other games couldn't, but so we did it this way, and then it was just crazy. And at the end of the day, he showed us that you could get player models that he could reshape the skulls so they fit the clothes, and then but then he also at the same time reshape different parts of the suit so that if your skull's too big, like the rigid parts of a helmet don't also like stretch where they shouldn't and stuff.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
because
pretty good.
it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep, that's mine. That's currently like
3.5.
my number one. Number two is flight model. Number three, just because I would like it to be inclusive, the female model.
So the female model thing is actually what I'm most looking forward to in 3.5, and that's because by the time 3.5 comes out, voice over IP and face over IP are going to be incredibly polished, because it was almost near perfect before this current iteration. Speaking of today, where the voice over IP server is kind of busted or something, but once 3.5 comes out, once the female models come in, then I feel like it's going to open up a world of new content in terms of just RP streamers and RP content, not just streaming, but content. Like right now, like for instance, like I have a lot of fun on the stream, saying, "Hey, what's going on?" and talking like that and using like voice filters and stuff. But having people be who and what they want to be with the character DNA system, and just being male or female or whatever, and having just female players, lady play. I mean, I don't know about the word female. It sounds so clinical. But when you say lady players, you sound like a creep. Anyway, you can't win.
Yeah.
But but female
women of the opposite sex.
Women of the opposite. That doesn't make any sense. Is that men? Women of the. Is that men?
I don't know.
But yeah, having women play the game and stuff, and when they play it, be themselves. I mean, like it's kind of jarring at the moment.
Not like on the first ever demo we had of VoIP, where you had Michelle basically walking around looking like you.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So we want to avoid that.
I mean, I'm not knocking, for instance, people who are men who want to play as women, who want to use voice over IP. I'm used to that enough. I play VR chat, so like that's a daily occurrence. But for people who want to be who they want to be, male or female, regardless, that's when that's gonna be the thing. That's gonna basically bring this game to par with almost GTA RP in terms of what you can do, But then once 3.6 comes out and we get player guilds, and not orgs but guilds, so things.
What's the difference?
So an organization is a player-made thing. That's Montoya saying, "I want to make test squadron song, invite people." That's organizations. They're very loose, very nebulous. They can do whatever they want to do depending on what they feel like doing.
Clans.
Yes. A guild in Star Citizen is made by the lore makers, and they are owned and run by NPCs. So, for instance, an example of a guild in Star Citizen would be let's say, would be the Cryastro Pilots Club. That could be a guild. And so if you only use Cryastro, so it would basically give you cheaper deals at Cryastro. It might give you missions to go transport fuel from one Cryastro to another. And it might give you the breakdown recovery. You break down, Cryastro Pilots Club will come and help you fix your ship. That's what guilds will be. And they can extend to things like the UEE might be a guild. You can enlist to the UEE in Star Citizen, and then you can maybe have access to maybe specific ships or combat support from NPCs and that kind of thing. Those are the kind of things that they've explained before as what guild would be. That's 3.6. And in its
see.
tier 0 implementation, it might not be as glamorous as that, but I'm still looking forward to that a lot as well.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sounds interesting at least. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Has 3.7 been released to the roadmap?
I have the roadmap up right now, and it does not. Not yet.
They're tardy. Maybe they're waiting for December to release it with the Squadron 42 roadmap.
Possibly. But also, of course, in this Thanksgiving and holidays always kind of screw things up. So yeah, we'll see. I'm just happy that they managed to kind of make good with the current deadlines. Like 3.1 came out at the end of Q1, the day they promised it. 3.2, the day they promised it. 3.3 was late, but Chris sat down and said it was going to be late because of CitizenCon, and it came out the day of CitizenCon. And then 3.3.5
to PTU, yeah,
to the PTU.
Live.
I mean, to people who, it's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, it's they didn't have it under wraps anymore. Yeah, they made it public, so I suppose.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then
3.3. I don't even remember was 3.1 and 3.2 also did they come to PTU on the first day, or did they go live?
I think they went live. 1 and 2 they went live. 3.3.0 at least went PTU, and that's what mattered. 3.3.5 well, 3.3.5 they asked us maybe the 20th, and it came out maybe the 12th or something. So at least they were speeding up, and then they gave us 3.3.6, which is at least bug fixes and stuff. So I think that they're on track. I think.
Yeah, I don't have any more doubts or issues with the way they're doing patches anymore now. There used to be a big problem in the past. We went for like a year without a major patch, was it?
Yes, the big old drought of 2017, right?
Or something like that. Yeah, but yep. Good on you, CIG. Anyway, I suppose this wraps it up. Should we go to chat questions now, if they have any questions?
We didn't set it up
didn't
today.
Do that?
No,
All right.
we can do it for after the YouTube stuff though.
Okay. Cool. Bye. Anyway, to do my old shtick again, I have been Darjanator. Over there has been Myre. You have been watching Fortnightly Frontier, back from hiatus, Season 5, Episode 1. New design, new layout, new fresh taste.
Minty.
And, well, I guess see you in a fortnight.
Don't we want to do it weekly now?
Well, it still says Fortnightly Frontier, but sure. Let's go against the grain. Let's make a fortnight mean a week. Yes.
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 Cue credits.
Can we make this even more awkward?